Stephen A. Smith on ESPN's First Take on if he believes the Browns can make a Super Bowl run.
My answer would be immediately no.
Okay.
And the reason I feel that way is because Nick Chubb's not there. Even though Kareem Hunt's no slouch, he's not Nick Chubb. Obviously, you traded Peoples-Jones. Amari Cooper, even though he's a worthy number one receiver, we've seen him in Dallas when he was a number one receiver, and we see what that materialized into. And we're still waiting for Deshaun Watson to show up and remind us of what he once was when he was a Houston Texan. Right now, he's left that responsibility to C.J. Stroud because he's balling the way Deshaun Watson used to ball in a Houston Texans uniform. Their defense is real. It's legit. I have no doubt about it. But offensively, there are a lot of questions about the Cleveland Browns. And when you consider the way Baltimore is looking and the way Cincinnati is now on the come up having won 4 straight, it's hard for me to look at Cleveland and talk about a Super Bowl run as long as Deshaun Watson doesn't have his act together.
Fred, I can't necessarily argue with that, but the question becomes, why can't Deshaun Watson get his act together? He had a rotator cuff strain. He looked pretty good. They just can't turn the ball over. This defense is good enough if you don't put yourself on short fields and you just make the plays that are there, you can win a lot of football games against good football teams.
Yeah, you really want to, you have like I said, you have a little launching pad now ramping up. You want to play your best, late in the year. So teams we've seen that, everybody forgets about what you do in the first half of the season is if you're playing your best down the stretch. We've seen wild card teams get in the playoffs, get on a roll, got hot at the right time. And that's what the Browns want to do. And that's what I said. The schedule sets up for them. Put themselves in position to make a run for the playoffs. And the defense, like we were just saying, they had the ability to be a top 10 defense right now, depending on the stat that you value. They're first or second or third, but they're definitely top 5 overall. And, in the special teams has been first or second. So those are 2 areas you wanted to address, and you went out and did that. But your offense has been what's kept you down. Now, the last 2 games that Watson has played the full game, the Titans game and the Cardinals game, he looked like he's heading in the right direction. I felt it was very important to play in the Cardinals game to get some of the rust off, to get back on track heading into these 2 big games with the Ravens and the Steelers. And I think the 3 big questions, I have a story, actually, I think it's coming out right now. The 3 big questions about Deshaun Watson, at least in my mind, he addressed. First of all, could he finish a game? Was he healthy to play the whole game? Second, was he able to make all the throws, including the deep throws? He threw 3 deep balls, 2 of them right on the money. And the last one was he able to run or take a hit and be able to get up and continue? He ran 3 times, was hit pretty well. He also was sacked, and he had 5 quarterback hits. So there's no question in my mind that he is heading in the right direction. Now it's a whole different ball game going into the Ravens this week. That's a completely different defense. But I think it gives Browns fans some hope that he is trending in the right direction and would be much better equipped to pick up where he left off last week and be able to get this offense on track, because I believe the defense will keep you in games. The offense just has to be able to not turn the ball over and to score enough points to win the games, because this defense is probably going to keep your opponent under 20 points. And any average offense ought to be able to get 20 or more points if they don't turn it over. And last week was a good sign. You can make the case, David, in my opinion, the 3 games they lost, the offense played a major factor in those losses. Whether, the Steelers, they outright lost the game. And in the Seahawks, the turnovers, especially at the end there, cost them the game. And I'd even make a case the Ravens game that the offense contributed heavily in jump-starting the Ravens in that win.